Hello and welcome to a very, very special start to a very, very special series of Clubhouse clips that is coming live to Slooh right here for you members. And I am broadcasting live from Smoky Hollow Studios at Slooh HQ in Washington, Connecticut. But really, the point of this show is that there's a even more particularly special spot that our expedition leader, observatory engineer, and community manager Paul Cox is broadcasting from. So I guess the question I want to pose to you here right at the front is, where in the world are you right now?
The land of fire and ice, Iceland. And
We
it's
have
pretty
it
cool
right
there.
up front and
Literally,
center
it's pretty
there on the
cool.
map.
Absolutely, there we are. And I tell you, it's been a fabulous trip so far. It's been a bit hectic because we were kind of delayed a bit. All flights to Iceland were cancelled on Saturday, which was the first day of the expedition. So the guys who were coming in from Madrid, they got stuck in Copenhagen. I just went home, picked up another flight the following day. So we're kind of running a day late. So
It really brings, I guess, to heart, I mean, that these expeditions are so dictated by the weather and just what's going on
yeah.
there, and it's this is the weather saying you're not going to win against us. You can negotiate, but you have to go along with what
Well,
we're doing.
you know,
So why in the world are you in Iceland at this point? Like, what are we doing here?
well, this is the Aurora part of the
Mm.
expedition. So we're here to see the Northern Lights, and we've got the special show on tomorrow night with Will Gator. That's going to be a really good show. And one thing that I need members to know about is we have got a fantastic weather forecast for tomorrow night. So fingers crossed, we're going to see some live Aurora in all their full glory.
That's really going to be an incredible show, particularly because of the day that it's on, for March 17th
Yes.
being St. Patrick's Day. So, we're going to watch as the sky live wears its own green. And so we can't pinch the earth today because it's going to be all in its appropriate dress for the occasion. So I really look forward to that.
Absolutely. We'll make it a good St. Patrick's Day. We'll paint it green in the sky.
Absolutely. So I have some pictures here from your expedition I thought I would bring up a little bit, in that we have this beautiful snowy stark landscape that I mean, it brings to mind how far up north you are.
Yeah. This was just on the way from the airport, actually. So I picked up the hire car, and it was about an hour and a half's drive, hour and 50 minutes, something like that. So in the clubhouse, members can have a look in there, and there's this, they're a bit, some of them are a bit kind of boring, but I really wanted to give a flavor of the kind of landscape that I was passing through. And one of the things you'll notice in these is that there's quite a lot of variation. You've got these very large flat plains, and then you've got mountain ranges, which are obviously volcanoes here as well. So there's a few nice images there, but this is today. We are a day behind, so people can see the schedule in the clubhouse, but today was going to see Giza, and the spelling of that is Geysir. And when I first saw that, I thought, is that the Icelandic spelling? But actually, this was the first Giza to be documented. And Giza spelt in that way is Icelandic for gush, all right? So all other geysers around the world have been named after this original. So
Really?
we had a pretty cool day today.
Wow, that's so cool. This is the founding geyser. Is that safe to say?
It's the founding geyser, absolutely. And now in the UK, I don't know if you have the same expression in the USA, but a geezer is like a bloke, right? It's a slang term.
An old geezer, yeah.
Yeah, old geezer, that kind of stuff. So every time I say the word, it kind of makes me smile a bit. But
Right.
this original geezer, the gusher, um, isn't gushing anymore. It's actually stopped. But what we saw today was another one called Strocker, and in that was first documented in 1789 when it started to erupt. They say that a geyser erupts. So in 1789, an earthquake unblocked the conduit which this hot water comes up through. Now, this is a static image of that one that we saw today. In early 20th century, it stopped erupting. So what the locals did was they actually dug a ditch around it to lower the water table, which meant that it started gushing again. But then they had other problems with it as well. And they found out that adding soap to the water actually prompted it to erupt. And with the main geyser, there are government geologists here who on national holidays in Iceland, they force geyser to erupt. And I think that's absolutely
Oh, that's so
fantastic
cool.
that we've got this geologist, going off and forcing this geyser into action. So we have got some fantastic video of both of these places today. That if you hop back to the other place we went today, Eric, this is just one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. This is called Gullfoss. It's which kind of means Golden Falls, and this to me epitomizes Iceland. We've got this huge gash in the landscape because don't forget, Iceland is the only place that the mid-Atlantic ridge becomes visible. It's not under the water. That's what's causing all the volcanic activity. So we've got this huge gash in the landscape, and this has got something like 140 cubic meters per second of water cascading down this thing per second. I mean, it was an absolutely glorious sight. And if you have a look in the clubhouse tomorrow, there's going to be some fantastic video of all of this. I've also got some great slow motion shots of Strocker as it erupts as well. So we've had a good day of photography today as well.
That's so fun. There's just so much going on. I'm sure your days are jam packed. I'm not even gonna ask when you sleep. That's just that's not even on the table. But
I
so
think that's
so you know.
Saturday, isn't it? That's the schedule. The schedule says sleep on Saturday.
I hope you survive through it. I mean, I'm sure this is all so worth it. It's so incredible to hear about. I'm sure it's even 1,000 times more incredible to experience. And so as you're going through these locations, as you're imaging these different incredible objects, like how are you gearing up towards the aurora, like the show tomorrow? So how are the preparations going there?
Well, a lot of the team are going out again tomorrow during the day, but really today for me was kind of a bit of a jolly. It's not directly related to what we're doing. So that was a bit of fun. That was a bit of relaxation after a long journey and stuff like that. So tomorrow, I'm preparing all of the equipment. In fact, I started to do that this evening, which is why I was a little bit late getting onto Skype for this show. But we've got some partially clear skies tonight, so we're hopeful that we may even see a few aurora tonight. But tomorrow night, the forecast is incredibly good. So tomorrow, for the entire day, I'm going to be readying all of the equipment that we're going to be using to image that live.
It's yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the aurora. I've never seen them in person myself, but I think this is pretty much the second best thing that you could do in order to
Yeah,
get this live, this sort of stream here. And yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be a really great show with Will Gator coming on, and
Yeah,
you giving
Will's a
us a
bit of an
live commentary in the
expert.
field.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing, Will's explanation. I'm going to be reporting in from the field and describing what I'm seeing because the aurora can take on a whole number of different forms, and they're different at different altitudes as well, which is affected by how strong the solar wind is, and it's going to be fascinating for me to give that description and for Will to be watching our live imagery and, to hear Will's explanation of what we're seeing and the mechanics of that.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a wonderful transition into, we this is sort of a midpoint of the expedition and then coming to the final amazing sort of goal of why all this stuff is taking place. The
Yeah.
total solar eclipse that is coming up so very soon. It's coming up at the end of this week. And we really hope
Yeah.
that you'll all tune in for that. And it looks like it's not terrible weather at that point. Do you have high hopes for the imagery that we're going to get out of the Faroe Islands?
We do. The long range forecast, I've been keeping an eye on it for quite a time and how accurate it is. And there's a good period of forecast which is for broken cloud. And that's going to be pretty good. We're also going to be, I believe it's going to be the highest rooftop in the whole of the capital city of the Faroe Islands, which will get us above one of the common problems in the Faroe Islands at this time of year early in the morning, which is a layer of fog, but that's only
Oh.
a few meters thick. So while a lot of people are down in the streets, not peering through the fog, we should be above that. So we are quite hopeful. We are quite hopeful.
There is that picture that's being passed around Slooh right now of that sheep on the rooftop. And so, is that what those sheep are doing? Are they avoiding the fog, or are they just having fun up there?
Maybe that's the case. I think you may be onto a good theory there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're sleuths as well as observatory workers, so that's what we do.
We are. But we've got
But
some really special imagery, lined up. We've got some specialist cameras that we brought here, some specialist instruments. It's over £100 of equipment. In fact, it's over £150 of equipment with cabling and all sorts of other things. We've got multiple cameras because we have to have backup for that lot as well. But we're going to have a live video feed through an H alpha telescope, and we're going to have other images through white light filters. So that's going to be some fairly unique images that we're going to see from this eclipse.
yeah, it's another thing I'm just really looking forward to. This week is going to be so much fun, and also
Mm.
as well as our wonderful eclipse expedition to the Faroe Islands, we're also working with some other feed partners around Europe to make sure that if there's a spot that's rained out, we'll have some alternative feeds. And we're also in talks with some people that might not be able to give a live feed, but they are very eager to send us some imagery, and so that we'll be able to share that the day after the eclipse. So Clubhouse members will get some special exclusive imagery from some of our feed partners. We'll be doing a Clubhouse clip show around some of those that you can enjoy even after the eclipse itself has finished. So we have lots of content coming for you members, lots of things for you to enjoy. I thought one good way to sort of give some feedback of how people can access the eclipse in the Clubhouse for the show here at the end would be just to sort of go through how to access really our special page on the road to totality.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to bring us into the Clubhouse here real quick. It should be coming up just about here.
While you're doing that, Eric, people may not have noticed, I probably need to put a link on the top of that page. But if you go down to the bottom of that page, there's a link to a page which is the whole expedition itinerary. So people can see exactly what we're up to every day.
So,
now, some of that has been put back a day, but we are preparing on these expeditions to be able in the future to be able to invite Slooh members to actually come with us. And what we're trying to do with this one is try as much as we can to give people the flavor of what an expedition like this is like. So in the other Clubhouse clips that we've got later on in the week, we're going to go through some of the, just the organizational things. What equipment? Why do we need to bring so much equipment? What does it take to do something like this? To give them a bit of a flavor for just, it's a lot of work. It's great fun, but there's a lot of work involved with this. And members have been asking, let's have a peek behind the curtain.
Right. Well, what can we reveal? It's such a great opportunity for everybody to get sort of a perspective, to step into your shoes, Paul, for just a few moments here to see what it's like to do this sort of expedition, to
Yeah.
maybe consider doing one of their own. I think this is a great stepping stone right here. And so we have this access here. So here's the show that is showing that it's just passed. And here's the page, the Road to Totality, that you can click on here. That brings you to the Total Solar Eclipse expedition page that we have, that with the countdown to the.
No, surely we've got longer than that. Just 3 days. 3 days, 11 hours, and 28 minutes. No.
Oh, you gave me a
We
mini
need
heart
some
attack.
more time.
I thought you were
Can we
thinking that the
delay it
countdown
by
was
a
wrong.
day?
Oh, no, but no. So yeah, it's coming up so soon, and so it's there, and we have all this all this content for you to look at that Paul is updating so much all the time. We have already a couple of expedition posts here that are coming online that you can read through, and lots of different resources. Anything in particular you wanted to point out on this page?
Well, if anybody wants a really good view of the Canary Islands Observatory, then have a look at that quick video that's at the top of the page, because that kind of gives this lovely panorama at the top. But keep an eye open tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to be putting some of the images and some of the video that we've taken today on there. And also after the public Aurora show tomorrow, we're going to have some special Aurora images purely for members in the Clubhouse. So pop along to this page after the public show tomorrow, and there'll be some never before seen images of the aurora there.
Lots of fun exclusive content this week. It's all coming. You should be logging into the Clubhouse every hour to see it as we update all the time. There's just going to be so much happening, and we're so glad that you're coming along for us on this incredible ride. Really, we appreciate your support and your eyes and your ears. And again, if you have any questions, we haven't gotten any yet, but we're looking forward to them when you have them. Let us know. We have a place for questions here that you can ask us whenever you're curious about some aspects of this expedition, whether it be about the total solar eclipse, whether it be about the northern lights, whether it be about just what car should you get when you're driving in Iceland for this sort of expedition. Like, well, we can talk to you about whatever you're really curious about, because this is what these Clubhouse clips are for. They're to address whatever you're considering about these types of things, and we want to start a dialogue up with you. So please do ask us your questions.
We want the membership to steer us in what you want from these special Clubhouse clips. So, but ask any questions that you got there. As Eric says, it can be about anything. It can be about the mechanics of the aurora, or the mechanics of the eclipse and the actual astronomical event, or it can be about the expedition. What kind of equipment do you use, to do a video feed of the solar eclipse? We can answer any of those questions. So it doesn't matter whether they're basic or advanced. We'll try and answer them in these shows.
And we have a lot of Clubhouse clips coming up towards this final event. So there's a couple more here, and we're looking forward to directing our content towards what you guys are looking for. So yeah, as Paul put it. But yeah, are there any sort of last remarks you might want to say about how the expedition's going here, Paul?
Well, I was just looking at that image that you got of my roommate in the Faroe Islands, so he's not going to be warm. No, I would just reiterate to everybody, ask us questions. You form these shows into what you want. Get out of us what you want. And there is loads of exclusive content that we are going to be adding this week, and that's going to be every night. And then on Saturday, I think the member exclusive show on Saturday, I'm really looking forward to that one, because it's when we've got a chance to take a breath and pull in all of the best content, all of the best images, all of the best video from the expedition, and we'll present them all in that half-hour show.
It'll be an excellent highlight play-by-play and just exclusive content. Lots of great stuff. But thank you again for joining me while you're in this sort of whirlwind trip here, Paul. I'm sure you're so busy, but I'm glad you're not too busy.
No, it's why we're here. It's why we're here. That's what we're doing. So yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. So.
And so you will see us again coming up very soon. You will see Paul and Will tomorrow night with the Northern Lights. You will see Paul and I again on the couple shows following, on the couple nights following, on some more exclusive Clubhouse clips updating you about this trip. And so we hope to see you again for our next show. And thank you again so much for tuning in. This has been Eric and Paul live with Slooh.
Good night, everybody.